What's going on, guys? You're with Hardy Tech, and welcome to the brand new Pokemon Countdown. So, we're relaunching Pokemon Countdown here today with probably the most controversial list I've ever done. A list that is definitely going to upset some people, and that is the top 10 most overrated Pokemon. In my opinion, please remember this series is 100% opinion based, as is every top 10 ever posted on the internet, so I don't know how we actually have to continue to say that to this point. But I highly recommend that down in the comment section below you leave me your list. It doesn't have to be 10 Pokemon, but just some Pokemon you think are overrated. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? And my favorite thing about top 10s is seeing your guys' reasons for Pokemon down in the comments. Like, yeah, you could just put like 10 this, 9 this, 8 this. I like seeing when you guys put some thought into it and think and say why each Pokemon is in each position. Why do you think a certain Pokemon is overrated? Why do you just hate this Pokemon with a dying passion? Why do you just think that one sucks? Now, what exactly do I consider overrated? Well, I don't dislike any of these Pokemon. Well, most of them. They're just Pokemon that, in my opinion, are a little too hyped up. Like, there's nothing really wrong with them, but I also think that there's nothing that really should make them stand out so much, besides the fact that they do stand out so much. I mean, there's 720 Pokemon now, and yet it seems overall the entire world just focuses on like 20. Whatever happened to Flygon? Flygon deserves love. And in the past, it's been documented that I'm not exactly a huge fan of Gen 1ers, but despite this, I do love Generation 1 and a lot of the Pokemon that came with it. Of course, these Pokemon are the ones that definitely fit the category of overrated. With that said, at least 50% of this list will be from Pokemon from other generations. So don't worry, this isn't just going to be me bashing on you Gen 1ers all day. Just half the day. Now let's stop this delaying and kick it off with number 10, Charizard. In all honesty, this is probably the most overrated Pokemon in existence. It was one of the coolest Pokemon in a generation of really not super creative ideas like plants and animals, but who doesn't love dragons? And I'm the first to admit, I love Charizard. As much as my hipster side wants to deny it, he's one of the coolest Pokemon of all time. So simple, yet so powerful. So why is he overrated? Well, I think that came in time. With newer, real dragons released, he gained some competition. Salamence, Flygon, Hydreigon, Goodra, there's a lot of amazing dragons on the world, and Charizard is just a small piece of the puzzle, but some fans just won't let go of their nostalgia. Speaking of dragons, our next Pokemon on the list is Flygon. I love Flygon. I love it, I promise. It's the greatest thing in existence since sand apple pies or something like that. It's definitely in my top 5 favorite Generation 3 Pokemon, and in my top 2 favorite dragons of all time. And really, I don't really think it started to become overhyped until the release of Generation 6. Like, oh, honestly, Flygon was kind of overlooked for a long time because of Salamence and Dragonite and Charizard and all the other, like, dragons that just kind of did Flygon's jobs better. Everyone just kind of forgot about Flygon. But then Generation 6 came along and Mega Evolution came along. Everyone wants their favorite Pokemon to get a Mega form, and the Flygon base was especially vocal about it. And in its defense, all other dragons in Generation 3 do have this ability. But I always felt that Mega Evolution be given to Pokemon that really need help, like Mawile, Kangaskhan, and Pidgeot. Pokemon that never had the biggest impact on the game, not Pokemon who are already threats like Metagross and Scizor. Flygon can hold its own, so maybe we should just cool it with the Mega Hype and look towards Pokemon that maybe deserve it more. I'm about to get a very angry text from one of my friends as we go on to number 8, Lucario. But let's face it, Lucario is awesome. Its design is one of the best ever in my opinion, and the movie, as well as its inclusion in Smash Bros, did nothing but help boost it into superstardom in the Pokemon universe. But are we maybe looking too far into this? The Pokemon Company obviously knew Lucario was going to be huge and put a lot of stock into this Pokemon even before the release of its home games. Which reminds me, I had no idea it had a pre-evolution until I got the Riolu egg. Like, why all the lack of love for the baby form? I guess that's a conversation for another day. Poor Riolu. While at the end of the day, Lucario is definitely one of the coolest Pokemon we have, I don't really feel like it happened naturally. Very similar to another Pokemon on this list, Game Freak just kind of decided Lucario was going to be popular, and we just went with it. Whenever I think of Milotic, our number 6 Pokemon, I picture a feminine version of Gyarados. They both evolved from rather, well, pathetic fish? But while Gyarados is scary and intimidating, Milotic is viewed as more beautiful and majestic. And I find this annoying. See, I don't really understand what everybody sees in Milotic. Honestly, I think it's kinda ugly. And it's annoying. Very annoying. Like, Marvel Scale can go muck itself, alright? And its insane bulk, as well as its access recovery, just make it such a huge, incredible pain to deal with. Like, is it even possible to one-shot a Milotic with anything? Exactly. And I hate facing them. I hate facing them, I don't like its design, and I definitely believe it's overrated. Number 5 is our very first legendary on this list, and possibly the most well-known legendary of all time, Mewtwo. For anyone who played Red and Blue, this guy definitely gave you nightmares. The ultimate boss of the original games, the most overpowered, borderline broken Pokemon in existence. While I didn't start playing until 3rd generation, I can only imagine what it was like back in the day, at the schoolyard, all the kids battling each other. Every single one has a Mewtwo. I mean, I guess that's still better than the 2015 VG Championships, but still. Mewtwo held the title of strongest Pokemon for several years until Arceus, that dude. But I guess Game Freak realized a mistake and decided to create not one, but 2 even more powerful Mewtwo Mega Evolutions. One becoming more physical and getting the fighting type, and the other, well, you're just not beating that one.